It is our promise to you, you did not come to struggle and suffer, but you did come to focus, which means diversity serves you extremely well. But the key is, once you know what you don't want, which helps you to clarify what you do want, give your undivided attention to that. And as you, all day, every day, are determined to get into this vortex, it is our promise to you that you'll get in and you'll get in and you'll get in. And sure, the vortex is going to spit you out because you don't have the ability to get in there and think only pure thoughts about everything. You're a creator. You're a sifter. You're a sorter. You're a diversified person exploring contrast. And it is the most normal thing in the world for you to get in and the vortex to spit you out. But you meant to spend way more time in this vortex than you are being in this vortex. It was your plan to be mostly in there and occasionally out. And we got to tell you, you've been out of the vortex long enough to create enough in the vortex work for 20 or 30 lifetimes. In other words, you really don't owe it to anybody to get out there and struggle yourself into clarity. We think you know what you want. You know what you want. So, vibrationally speaking and emotionally speaking, this doorway to this vortex, this vibrational state of being, on the emotional scale is somewhere between hope and belief. In other words, if you are in despair or anger or revenge, you're nowhere near the vortex. And even though who you really are is in there and law of attraction is calling you home, you've got enough resistance going that you're not going easily. And that's what negative emotion is. Did you get that? Negative emotion is the larger part of you calling you, pulling you, but because of your resistant stance, you're not going easily. Oh, you're going. Because when you croak, in you go. You're going. You're just not going easily. And the fact that you're not going easily is why you have those hurtful, painful emotions that can even turn into illness. Resistance is only and always, only ever about, did we put enough in that to make you only ever, always, always ever, only, always, ever. Resistance is only, always, ever, eternally about, it's only ever about you having a vibration that doesn't match what's in there. So you hold yourself out with your own thoughts, which means nobody else, not the economy, not the government, not the other political party, not the other religious groups, not the opponent on the football field, nobody, not ever, is the reason that you are not having the success that you want. Because no one can keep you out of your vortex but you. Unless you want to say, oh, they were there and I saw them. And because I saw them, I didn't allow myself into the vortex. So they really should be different because I might see them again. I don't have the ability to focus. I just look around everywhere. And I might see something that might hold me out of the vortex. So it seems to me that the best plan of action, this is what humans say, seems to me that the best plan of action would be for us to all get together and decide what the perfect one way of life is, and then we'll just make everybody be it, and then it'll be a lot easier. And we say, how is that working out? There has to be some logic that lets you know that if you need even one other person to be different so that you can get in the vortex and be a match to what you're asking for, you're going about it in the wrong way because you can't make them focus long enough. Do you have a teenager? You can't get them to hold you as their dominant intent. Isn't it, or wasn't it, maybe not for you, but many of you feel shocked that others would have the nerve to care about their life more than yours. I don't think that guy's giving me the best deal he could give me on this purchase. It's like he doesn't even care about me. And when you finally accept that every person on the planet is selfishly oriented, every person on the planet is making their way to their own vortex, and all you've got to do is find a thought that lets you in. Think about the alternative. So you get up in the morning and you really don't want to go to work, but that's the way you make your money for now. So you think, well, in a perfect world I'd fix that, so I wouldn't go to work. I'd just have my own money coming somehow. And in order to do that, I've got to have a really good idea. So I need to get on the internet and I need to explore all of the ideas and decide what's a really good idea for me. And then I'm really not prepared to do that. I don't have the equipment and I don't have the money to get the equipment, but I'll find some grant. I'll find some way. I'll find somebody that will give me the money so that I can get the equipment so that I can create my own business. And then I'll do as much as I can, but then I might need some employees. And they'll have to come to work. I'm having a hard time working this out because I'm doing this whole thing because I don't want to work. So they probably won't want to work either. So I'll get back on the internet and I'll find those who want to work. That's what I'll do. I'll find those who want to work, and I'll create a business that will be big enough that then they can come and they can work. And we say, or you could just get in the vortex. You could just get in the vortex. You could just find a way of finding a thought that doesn't feel uncomfortable and let the universe who has much better than a Google search engine, who has access to every vibration on the planet, who knows who everyone is, where everyone is, exactly what their vibration is, who will perfectly match you with everything that you have put into your vortex of creation, where law of attraction has already assembled all cooperative components. So the question that we want to put to you is, are you a cooperative component to your own desire? And the answer is usually not. The answer is, if you're feeling elation, yes, but if you're feeling frustration or overwhelmment, or if you're worried, then you are not a vibrational match. You are not a cooperative component to your own creation, to your own vortex. So here's the thing that we want to sort of lay out there for you to bubble in the air as we are moving forward today. Because if you can reconcile this, then all of this will come together easily for you. We just want to ask you this one simple question. Is it easier for you to control the behavior of a substantial number of people and circumstances and events in order to give you something that you can look at that will take you easily into the vortex? Or would it be easier for you to just focus your thoughts on things that take you into the vortex? Well, pretty clear, isn't it? Much of your world is going about it in such a backwards way. They're saying, when I see that, I feel good, but when I see that, I feel bad. So we need to make laws so that that can't happen. And we say, are your laws doing the trick for you? Or are you filling your gels to the brim and building more every day, because the very essence of every single person on the planet is absolute freedom? In other words, you all want it. The freedom you're looking for, hear it, is freedom from your own vibrational discord, which is self-inflicted every single time. And when you discover how to get in the vortex and maintain a certain amount of time in the vortex, you're going to discover freedom beyond anything that you have ever experienced before. And that's what we're rooting for. We're rooting for the alignment of you in your physical form with you in the vortex. So, what do you want to talk about? Some things. Going to have a very, very good day. You are knowing what you are wanting. You are enjoying the evolution of your desire. You are enjoying the contrast that makes your desire possible. Out of that variety, you are able to focus, aren't you? And focusing is what you do, yes? As creators, you are focusers. Focusers of what? Focusers of consciousness, which is to say focusers of energy, which is to say focusers of thought, vibration. Many different words speak to the same concept, but the important word is focus, because you have the ability to think and choose. You have the ability to choose what you think about. You have the ability to choose the direction of your thought. You have the ability, therefore, to choose your vibration. You have the ability, therefore, to choose your point of attraction. You have the ability, therefore, to choose in any moment to focus into alignment with all that you are, or away from alignment to all that you are. When we speak of all that you are, we're talking, of course, of who you really are. You're beautiful in your bodies, but the physical part of you is an extension of all that you really are. You were source energy before you came forth into this body. And a part of that consciousness, thought, was focused into this physical body that you now claim as the personality that you know as you. But we claim much more of you as you than the personality that you know as you. Because we know not only who you were before you came into this body, but we know that who you were before you came into this body still exists even though you were in this body. And further, we know that even though you are now in this body exploring contrast and giving birth to new expansion, that non-physical part of you is what you were and all that you've asked for since. So this non-physical part of you is so much more than you know here in this physical body. But when you are in this physical body, you could be all of it. You have the ability to focus yourself fully into all that you were and are. Now, what we mean by that is, in this physical body, your life causes you to know what you don't want and therefore to know what you do want. It is really fun to watch you, every consciousness that you are, whether you are human or one-celled organism, you are always standing in your place with your experience around you, coming consciously to new preferences about what would be better. And as each preference is born from you, when someone's rude to you, you prefer that the world be nicer. When you are sick, you prefer that you be well. When you don't have enough of something that you want, you prefer that a way to find it appears. And so the preferences are constantly being born, and as these preferences or requests or hopes or dreams or questions, whatever you want to call it, as these questions come forth from you, the non-physical part of you literally becomes the equivalent of your farthest reaching request. So when we say you in your physical body have the ability to be all of that, what we really mean is you have the ability to choose thoughts that cause vibration, that allows connection to the furthest part of you. And that's what true blending is. That's what true enlightenment is. That's what being frisky is. When you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the fullness of who you are, that's when you are living as you intended to be. And anything less than that is off the mark. And that's why anything less than that produces within you guidance that shows you it's off the mark. That's what negative emotion is. Negative emotion means you, in your humanness, in your physicalness, are focused upon something that has a vibrational frequency that is preventing your full blending with who you really are. That negative emotion is your indicator you're off. And if it feels off, it's off. Off from what? Off from what others think? No. Off from what you thought before you were born? No. Off from what God or some other creator wants from you? No. Off from who you have become. Off from the fullness that you are. Off from your most expanded beingness. Off from the source energy that flowed into you and while in you became something more. In other words, what we're just saying to you, you got to keep up with you if you are to feel positive emotion, which means you're keeping up with you. When you feel frisky, you're aligned. When you feel love, you're in alignment. When you are appreciating, you're in alignment. In your joy, you're in alignment. In your hope, you're almost aligned, but not quite. In your belief, you're aligned. In your anger, not even close. In your despair, further still. In fact, the furthest that you can get is despair and depression, which is what powerlessness really feels like. Alignment feels like empowerment, full of the power and the energy that creates worlds, full of who you really are.